Everything's so accessible now. It's crazy that everybody has such good microphones now, and it's great you don't have to worry about that stuff anymore.
Yeah, it's super easy to get a pro mic and everything. Unfortunately, the VAA just closed down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I was mentioning that to him because I kind of heard.
Yeah.
But
There's another one that's been popping up recently that I can't remember the name of. I feel so
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it either.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like I said, just even if it's just your next door neighbor that you just want to pull. Hell, I know that I was part of Disorganization 13. I played
me too.
Sora, and we didn't have anybody that could do Donald Duck. So one of the main guys got his mom to come in and just make Donald Duck noises, and it worked. No one knows that. You know, and that's the cool thing, you know, like, and I mean, obviously when it comes to people, when you cast them for like major main characters, then you do sort of have to worry about, like, are they going to be cool with, you know, maybe if you're going to be doing 10 episodes or like a 13 episode anime or even, like I said, ship it in, you need people that are sort of dedicated, and you need to let people know about that when you're going to do it. All right, next question. You in the back.
What do you think some of the original ones were? Like, the earliest one I can remember was like Tori all in the Turkadot fish videos.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Helped inspire, like,
Early ones. Like I said, Monstico and Vegeta and Little Karibo were. But Weekly Tube Show, he's been around for a really long time. He's been in Team 4 Star's Abridged series a couple times, sort of like random characters. And one big inspiration for online videos for me personally was Legendary Frog on Newgrounds. He did the One Ring to rule them all. Yeah, and it was like a really long time ago, and he made these in like super old Flash. But it sort of pointed to me that, oh my god, you can put stuff like this together and you can make parodies out of something. So that sort of really stuck out. And he has a really good Chocobo theme music about how cool Final Fantasy is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some people may have heard that one but didn't know that it was from him, right? And someone like Ego Raptor also sort of has a good place in that regard too, because their voices are what carried it, not the animation per se. And yeah, no, that's how it got me into making parodies and voice acting.
Also, we can't forget the G.I. Joe PSAs.
Oh yes, the G.I. Joe PSAs were really
Oh,
good.
I don't want a pickle. I just want to ride my motorcycle.
Jeez. This is how dated we are on the Yeah.
I found somebody remastered those in 2009. I'm like, it was that long ago?
That's a remaster.
That's a remaster.
Oh wow. Yeah, you in the front.
Have you ever had to deal with low-tech solutions?
Oh yeah, low-tech solutions. So it sort of bleeds over. It sort of bleeds over into like I've done Let's Plays and other things too. So you sort of jerry rig as much as you can together. So the way I used to capture ship it in to actually have the footage for it is I would download it from a very legal torrent site, and then I would have to send my signal from my computer monitor to a splitter to a digital camera and then rip off the digital camera the footage. Because back in the day we didn't have a lot of like really good converter systems, like things to just like stick a video that doesn't work in Windows Movie Maker, which is what I used back then. It just didn't, the torrent didn't work. So I had to reverse engineer the thing without having like an encoding software, you know? Like now you can just like, Vegas and other things are there that you can sort of stick stuff in. Handbrake is a great tool for that, by the way. If any of you know of Handbrake, it is great for any type of footage, whether it be game or anime or anything like that. But yeah, no, I remember having these wires going from the computer like down and around to the TV and then back from the TV. And like the quality was as best as I could do. And Inuyasha was the same way it wasn't until much later when I think it's when I switched to Vegas when I could start actually using proper like Blu-ray rips or like legal torrent downloads. And I know that some other people like were just recording things off their VHS. Like I'm fairly sure that LK, when he started, he just had old video recordings of them on VHS that he had done from like just ripping off of TV.
Yeah.
And you can tell because he's got like the JetX logo and some other like random logo.
And I remember, like, the thing that was really the next boom where I got started was Lenny Pator did his How to Make an Abridged Series video, and he used a capture card to capture from his DVDs because there wasn't, there was ripping software, but you were like, you had to really know what you were doing with it.
Yeah, most
so,
of the time you got, like, really weird garbage type files, like the MTT2s and stuff like that. It was, like, really weird how the splitters used to do it.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
What's the worst editing software you ever used?
The worst editing? I want to say that Windows Movie Maker was probably the worst, just because. And the funny thing is that I was a really late adopter to other editing software. And I swore by Windows Movie Maker I could do it. And it wasn't until I really was trying to get lip flaps right that I realized that Windows Movie Maker, at least at the time, I don't know if it still does, I think it's called like Windows Create or something stupid like that now. But it had a 3-frame window. So you couldn't get proper stills or get proper lip flaps and stuff like that because you almost do things to the frame level at a certain point. So Windows Movie Maker made everything look choppy, and whenever you took a screenshot of something just to make a still image of him with his mouth closed, it would change the color. You can see it in some of my old episodes where the color just changed.
Didn't you edit the X4 thing we did and you used Movie Maker for that?
Yeah.
Because I recall like the frame switching and the color switching because that's when I knew you were taking a screenshot.
Yeah, and you did. It was like painfully obvious.
Also, Windows Movie Maker is linear editing only. You can't go back and well, you can, but like it's very complicated to.
Yeah, and it had multiple. It only had one audio channel. So what would happen is if just say you wanted to put voices at the same time, or you wanted to put music behind the voices, you had to render it as an MP3, then reinsert the MP3. Every time you rendered it, this is before high definition, like really high quality HD, it would garble anything. So you're like, what's the least important? I don't know, Sasuke's theme? Fine. No one cares. And like you just sort of do that and compile it like you were just taking a piece of like Wonder Bread and just smushing it down.
Yeah, are you talking about like rendering the video then putting it back into Movie Maker to add more music?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was definitely the most difficult. I don't think there is a worse thing. Maybe iMovie. I remember my friend, she had a terrible time with iMovie back. I don't know if it's good.
Yeah, I think Megami used iMovie for the first half of Sailor Moon Abridged. And it's better than Movie Maker, but that's not saying much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had 2 audio channels. Beta, Mac, on product. But I don't know. Do you have your USB?
I do have them here. Let me just move my.
I think it's time for some more laughter.
Okay. Okay. Let me just get my external drive here.
I guess.
Did you just take off your phone?
What? Yeah. I didn't know when you were gonna be here, man.
Traffic was murder. Literally, there were like 20 people dead.
Oh, Jesus. Well, while he's quickly setting this up, we could probably take one more question. Yeah.
About how long does it take you to make 1 minute of Abridged?
1 minute of Abridged?
I can answer this because I basically, for the first time in like 2 years, I started lip syncing again. 1 minute took me 3 hours to lip sync. And that's because I was rusty. In my prime, I could do it maybe in like an hour to 2 hours, depending on how focused it was. But at the same time, as you're lip syncing, I'm like, okay, I need to add sound effect here, I need to do this. Usually what I do is I'll edit all the audio first in just like a straight line, and then I'll put in little sound effects or whatever when I need to, and then I'll start doing it. Because basically what you're doing is you're taking this, and you're putting it over every syllable. And then if that doesn't work, you're taking screenshots and then putting those over certain spots to make it look more presentable. I was like, they approved this panel like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm just gonna hammer this thing out and get it done. I don't care how sloppy it looks. People will forgive me because it's been like 2-3 years.
Yeah. Like the full script for my little like minute and a half there. The whole script took me and Mike maybe about 4 hours to write, and that's like, we watched the first and second episode of Twin Star Exorcist way too many times.
Whoops.
No, that's that. But yeah, no. And you just sort of get into a pattern. Like once you know, like if you're writing with somebody else, you sort of know their jokes and how they write with each other. When I used to write Inuyasha, I would do it one episode at a time. So I was doing each episode and then condensing them into about 7 minutes. And those, it's been so long ago, but I'd say they took roughly about the same. And then the editing, like I didn't care as much about lip flaps back then. What do you do now? Because you see the quality of Team 4-Star and LK, and you're just like, well, if I just bullshit this, like it's not gonna look good.
When the third or fourth wave, I don't know what you would call it, the way the amount of bridges there are now, almost all of them came out of the gate with like great editing, because I think most of them knew you can't do it the way we used to anymore in your first episode. You've got to figure it out. So a lot of them spent the time, learned how to do the lip syncing, and it was very beneficial, because there's been a few like Kaiser Neko of Team 4-Star did a ton of tutorials on how he does lip syncing. So I think a lot of people picked that up, and I even did a small lip syncing tutorial. And I think it helped out quite a few people when they'd ask me, okay, how do I do this? I'm like, okay, here's a video I made on how I do it.
Yeah.
And if that works for you, great.
Yeah. And it is the most time-consuming part. Though, like, there are other small things that happen in these episodes, too. Like, the amount of blush on that girl's face when they're talking about Rokuro's Happy Man. He had to add extra blush and to get the eyes to move when things come out and happen. Like, he even added a sweat drop that he doesn't have in the series. And those edits, like, there's visual edits in Team 4-Star that are just amazing. Like, if you watch some of the, like, Kaiser releases on the website, he reaches a bunch of, like, his re-edits and, like, how he's re-edited and changed things. And it's crazy how much time and thought has to go into this stuff, and you write it into the scripts too, because you're like, if we have the tools, we can rebuild.
My favorite thing is when I come up with a joke and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to edit that, but I'm going to figure it out. So before you open that up,
okay.
So should we show, what thing should we show? Should we show my thing next, or?
I've already shown mine actually.
For a long time I've been wanting to make a parody of this, but I couldn't think of any good ideas, and then recently it just hit me. So I started doing it. So, who here is familiar with Beyblade? Yes. So I put together a Beyblade Abridged. I've actually been rewatching the series, and I realized like it's like watching a sporting event with bad dialogue. I love it.
No, it was like OG sports anime before sports anime was like a thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like watching Yu-Gi-Oh! You're like, I'm watching two people play card games. It's amazing.
And I want
two spinning discs that they're like, how do we make this better? I don't know, like giant flame tigers?
Do you know how badly I want to be able to control my Beyblade like they do in the show?
Oh, yeah.
If you act in real life, it's just like, yeah, go. It's gonna sleep out, isn't it?
Yeah. They don't even hit each other.
I didn't realize how big it is now. There's a YouTube channel I've been watching of these two guys. They have like 500,000 subscribers.
Damn.
And all they do is make like weird Beyblade videos. Like they did one where they made during winter they made like a frozen like thing of a Bay Stadium. And they Beybladed in that. They got a drone and they Beybladed in the sky. It's just weird. They took those, what are those things called? Those spinner things? They made a Beyblade with one of those. All the spin when they launched went to the finger spinner, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And then when that stopped, then the Beyblade started spinning. So it makes it like ridiculously fast. Anyways, this is my attempt. I went back to basics, so it's a little rough, but hopefully you guys will enjoy.
Does it have the signature?
You better have a signature. Alright.
Beyblade! Beyblade! I challenge you to a Bey battle. Or, now hear me out here, I could just beat you up and take your Beyblades. You drive a hard bargain, sir. No, I mean, I could just beat you up and take your Beyblades. This here is a laundry bag, but it doesn't have laundry in it. It's got Beyblades, so start recording things. So I mean, if I smack you with it, It's gonna hurt. Probably knock you out. Then I'll just take your Beyblades. Not if I jump into the air and launch my blade at you! Ah, dude, what the hell? Carlos, you got defeated by a Beyblade? You're not part of the Blade Sharks anymore. Okay, who's this asshole? I am Kai, leader of the Blade Sharks. I'm sorry, what? Blade Sharks? That's like the worst name for a team ever. What do you mean? You know sharks are actually not aggressive animals and only attack when provoked. Well, would you look at that? Looks like I got provoked. Man, you just trashed my blade. Don't worry, Tyson. We can make you control my Beyblade. Who the shit is this kid? My name's Kenny, but everyone calls me the Chief, because I'm an expert on Beyblade. No, you're not. Yes, I am. See, I've got the glasses and everything. I'm instantly convinced. Alright, Tyson, in order to beat Kai, you're gonna need to build a more powerful Beyblade. Well, duh, I knew that much. If you're going to do it, we'll need to consult my bid piece, Dizzy. She's a high-tech encyclopedia. So just like a Pokedex? No. That's dumb.
Hi, it's 12:52 p.m., by the way.
Dizzy, how do we make the ultimate Beyblade?
Searching for how to make the ultimate Beyblade.
No, Beyblade. Ultimate Beyblade.
Searching for how to make the ultimate gay date.
No, Beyblade.
Searching for how to make the ultimate Beyblade.
Alright, Tyson, I think we got everything we need. Great, just one question. Who the hell is this guy? He's been standing here and he followed us into my house. What do we see him do? Alright, I think I'm finally ready to take on Kai, right, Chief? Chief? Where the hell is he? I think he's been kidnapped. Get out of my house. Hey, Dragoon, I need help saving my friend. What should I do? To find the answer you seek, you must live by the code. The Konami code? No, the code of the dragon.
Anyone ever seen the Double Dragon cartoon?
So, you got any games on this thing? Nope, just porn. Hey! You won't be sorry. I'll take you on. Dude, how the hell are your legs not jelly from that landing? Push-ups, sit-ups, and plenty of steroids. 3, 2, 1. Let it rip! Feel the power of the Dragoon! If you think trying to blow me away will stop me. Shit! I hate it when I get my big piece twisted. What just happened? Our Beyblades aren't normal. They've got extraordinary powers. Yours of the Dragoon, and mine of the Dronzer. Whoa! Beyblades are better than drugs!
That was wonderful. I had like, this is the thing, yeah, it's like
I ripped that off DVD, by the way. I own half the season on DVD.
Nice. Did you use a cool camera connection? Because that's what I did.
No, I ripped the DVD and I did it wrong. So by the time I realized I finished editing, so I was like, I need to fix this. I can't fix it. Okay, I spent 2 days figuring out how to render the video properly.
Jeez.
Normally that's the easy part, waiting for it to render, but I don't know. Do you guys like it?
Yeah!
So does that mean I should make more? Yeah! Okay. Oh man, I just can't wait for AJ Topper and Brad Bass. That's my favorite part. Oh man. So yeah, that's the Beyblade Abridged that I came up with. And that, really, the way that I've been able to come up with scripts recently is I have a joke, and then I write around that joke. I can't remember what joke it was. It was the I think it was the first joke in this, like I could just beat you up and take your Beyblades, and I'm like, yeah, why doesn't anybody do that in the show? Why do they even care?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, I have stuff planned for the future if I did plan to go on, like Max. Oh man, do you like puns?
Oh jeez.
Oh man,
Yes.
nothing but puns. I mean, his intro episode is to the max. So yeah, so that's Beyblade Abridged. I hope you guys all like it. But at the end of this, if anybody wants my channel, actually, my old Abridged channels got hacked and I can't get into them anymore. So I made a new channel that I haven't announced yet. So if anybody wants that channel before they leave, I'll write down the address for it so you can find it. This will be uploaded on there once I get back from the convention. So I want you guys to be the first audience. You're my test audience for this video.
Yeah.
So I think it's a pretty good test then, successful test in that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, does anybody have any questions about the video or?
Like anything in the video that may have like stuck out that you may have a question about. Yes, no, yes. You're back.
Where'd you get the noise for launching the blades?
Funny enough, I realized just after the VAA closed, I realized the hard drive sound effects was gone. So I was like, oh great, I don't have any of my sound effects. So I was going to use the Gundam sound effects pack. Of course, the website where I got it from is down, so I can't go get it. And I tried asking people I knew who had it, and they were all busy making their own videos. So it's like, I couldn't get it. I just Google searched for sound effects on YouTube and ripped them. I also went to like free sounds and findsounds.com. There's a lot of free sound effect sites out there. A lot of the sounds that I used were from the Naruto and Dragon Ball Z sound packs, which are super easy to find. You can just Google for them and they're up anywhere. And the sound of if anybody's seen the Beyblade anime, whenever they transition, they use like a little Beyblade silhouette, and it has a sound effect that's literally a few seconds. I abused that sound effect. Like I reversed it, I cut it up, like, because that was the only Beyblade sound I had. Because like, I don't know what it is about dubbing shows here, but they can't let scenes have no music or be silent.
Not all.
Especially with those kind of shows.
Well, I guess yeah. When it came to localization, yeah.
Again, this show was dubbed in 2002, so that's not surprising. But like they were like, kids aren't going to be engaged if we make a scene quiet. So I was busting my ass to find like a scene where I could get the spin sound without music behind it. And I'm like, there's like none. So
but that does sort of lead into the fact that like, and this is something that I always notice with like watching anime and stuff like that. Something that you acutely at first say, oh, this scene's silent and they're trying to be dramatic and stuff like that. My abridged brain says, I can rip those.
if you've I don't know if you've done this, but if you've ever like spent time looking through episodes and episodes and episodes because you know that sound effect there was somewhere without music, I've done that before.
Yeah.
I did that once for a ringtone because I wanted it bad enough, and I'm a fan of Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, and I wanted the Tokyo ringtone as my ringtone for my phone at the time, and I'm like, there has to be a scene where there's no music behind this. So I found it. It took a long time, but I found it. Also, props to are you cosplaying Alan?
Yes.
That's awesome. I just saw that in the corner of my eye. I'm like, no way. That's awesome. So, okay, so we've got one more video. Do you want to show it now, or does anybody have any questions before we move on to the last video?
Yeah.
Is there a difference between abridging Japanese anime or American anime?
Not really.
No, any show can really be abridged. That's the nice thing about the word abridged. It really just means to shorten, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about like 3D animation?
Oh, people have done it. Like, like Gonzingba, who's part of Team 4-Star, he started doing Avatar abridged. So then that's a Canadian cartoon.
Yeah, the reason why anime is so popular, not only from the fact that anime is incredibly popular in both the East and the West now, is the actual animation style lends very well to it because we can take lip flaps because all it is a line with like a little extra circle. So they open and close. So it's so amazing to see people do things like Batman abridged and stuff like that because they have to work with American animation that really does sort of focus on the lip flaps.
Yeah.
Like if you watch Avatar, you'll see that they do quite a lot of lip movement, and the characters themselves move a lot more. Like an anime where you can watch a teen drama where all they do is stand one to the left, one to the right, and they just talk at each other for 20 minutes.
And I mean, you don't have to use. I've done some live action parodies, but when you get to live action, you just have to not care about lip flaps because it's impossible.
Yeah, it's just
I did
a Bruce Lee movie.
I did a one shot of Kamen Rider Foes and Kamen Rider O's. So, and those were like, I'm just like, well, half the show's gonna be them in helmets and fighting a rubber suit monster that can't open his mouth. So I don't care. I'm just gonna like write what I want for it. So don't make it feel like you have to make your editing super good. It helps if you've got animation because people like some people these days have like a first impression that will they're like, oh, their lip syncs off. This is even if it's funny. But don't be discouraged by that. If you want to parody something, don't limit yourself. I say like pick something you're familiar with. Like I started with Mega Man, like.
Yeah, the American Mega Man cartoon.
And my lip sync was not on.
Oh, no.
I was editing in Vegas 6, and there was clip damage, and I was just like, I don't care, I'm just gonna put this video out.
Yeah, man, God, we're so, it's interesting because we are now so, like, it's in our heads to, like, make sure everything's perfect before we release it. And back then, it was just like, I'm gonna make it funny, and you just sort of put it together. You didn't even care if it was funny or not. You sort of put it out in the internet.
It's like, all right, I got this 10-second clip. The mouth is closed at the start and it's closed at the end. I don't even care if they match up. I'm just gonna put it on there.
Yeah.
So.
All right, yeah, we'll take one more and then we'll show the last video.
Maybe you watch the ghost stories of your stuff and you find those.
Oh my God.
Actually, see that's an interesting thing because from what I've heard of how that got localized and everything sort of got like really weird and muddled, it was like apparently when they signed over and it was given to them, all it was this is a paranormal story. And you have free reign over whatever you want to do with it.
Because the show didn't do well.
Yeah, it didn't do well in Japan. And they were just sort of like, do whatever you want with it. And the voice actors just said, well, no one's going to watch this anyway. So they went and they had fun. They did it. And I would consider that like an abridged series because, yeah, like they changed a bunch of the characters into like, there's that girl, I love her to death. Love Jesus, praise Jesus. She's so fantastic. She's like the cornerstone of that dub. And like I would really like to see, and you've actually seen it with Team 4 Stars Abridged, to see actually some mainstream voice actors sort of like end up in Abridged series. And it's really cool to sort of see.
Yeah.
And you kind of wish that happened every once in a while, but then then they move into my territory and they're like, oh. But yeah, I would definitely consider something like that a parody or an abridged series or whatever you would like to call it, because that's what we are. We're pretty much just a parody series that we have sort of adopted under a banner under a community. Alright.
Just put my camera over there to point to that side of the crowd.
Yeah, sure.
So this last one is made by another friend. Kind of, I guess you could say he's newer to the Abridged community, but he's done voice acting for a while. Our friend SCXER, he normally does like game reviews. He's also sitting right there.
Yeah, he's in the crowd.
Hi. When I first saw this, I'm like, that's an interesting idea, because, and this is something that I want to just get into before we show the video. Sometimes there's stuff that's really hard to abridge, like for example, a comedy or a hentai. I've done one of those. I'll let you guess which one it was.
Is it still on YouTube? Because I'll be mad if it is.
I think, so the channel for it was called A Place for Children. And we abridged sex for credit.
Oh, a classic.
So we're like, well, this is definitely not something for children, but we're gonna call this the channel name anyways. So it's not up anymore, obviously. But I did my best to censor things with like O. Henry bars and pies and stuff. That was a journey, and sometime I'll have to bring it with me to show everybody. It's not the best thing I've ever done, but just the whole joke of this is porn.
It's a better dub than the actual sex ed dub.
So, like, one thing that's approached is I've wanted to do parodies of comedy shows. How do you abridge a comedy? It's already comedy. So it's like, you have to give it a different approach. And this video that SCR has done is a different approach. And I think that, I think everybody's gonna like it.
Alright.
So this is a Fooly Cooly abridged thing.
Abridged thing?
Yeah, that's what the file says.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, dumb Fooly Cooly Abridged thing.
Disclaimer, this is a non-profit fan parody. Fooly Cooly is property of Gynax, Production IG, Funimation, and some others I probably missed. Support the official release by buying a Blu-ray or a t-shirt or a really expensive bass guitar. How does buying a bass guitar support the release, you might ask? Well, I wrote down the explanation for that in the other room. Just give me a second.
She was gone. The last distant sputter of the Vespa was an exclamation mark on everything that happened to that point. I released my fingers from the bass guitar, and it was over. You might be wondering how she flew away on a Vespa. And to that, all I can say is, Japan. To make any kind of sense of it, I need to go back a couple months. Back to when the pain started. The dictionary said it was a headache, but the internet said it was a brain tumor. That's never wrong. My brother left for America, chasing his pro baseball ambitions on a minor league field of dreams. That left his girlfriend, Mamini, clinging to me, the table scraps of their relationship. All we had in common was that we both saw our nondescript day-to-day lives through hell-colored glasses. She drank the sour stuff. It went well with her sour demeanor. Am I reaching too much saying that? I worry that I force some of these comparisons more than Adult Swim forces more anime into its program. Nothing happens here. Malase is any pseudo-middle-class town torn between relevance and mere existence. Except for the Medical Mechanica building. It juts out of the urban jungle in the middle of town, venting steam from its base like a DeviantArt fetish. We were on the same bridge as always, searching for an excuse to be on the same bridge as always. I was about to break the bad news about Captain Baseball Bat Boy, when I got thrown one hell of a curveball. They tell me I was clinically dead for 11 seconds, but as I tasted the decade-old concrete shortly before losing consciousness, I'd never felt more alive. I barely had time to remember how to remember anything when I heard a chainsaw about to cut down the last tree in the forest of my innocence. They tell me I was clinically dead for 8 seconds as I felt the solid body of a left-handed Rickenbacker 4001 as when a Zerklo finish kissed my forehead just before losing consciousness. I'd never felt more handsome. I meant alive. In a 5-minute stretch, I was yo-yoing between dead or alive more than a beach volleyball game. She drove off before I or Mamini could get her name or plate number. A cocktail of emotions swirled in my brain. Anger, confusion, sadness. It's what the Toronto Raptors must feel like every time they get a win. 2 sizes too small for my brain. Little did I know my brain wasn't the problem. I briefly considered changing my Tumblr page to identify as Rhinokin. Rhinos can't type. Rhinos also don't have to worry about school. The hospital wasn't an option, not until after the severe cartoon physics warning expired in 2 days, so I had to improvise. The bandage did nothing but arouse suspicion. One of my friends implied I was using the bandage to cover up nuclear launch codes I would sell to the Yakuza. Another said I'd been cursed by God. I implied they should go drown themselves. I used Maul's barbecue sauce. Perfect for any kind of meat, most kind of vegetables, and toast. Good for the entire family, including that one kid who sucks at baseball. Maul's barbecue sauce. Don't just grill it, maul it. After a cold shower, I had no idea what was waiting for me at the top of the stairs. she turned into a Nintendo 64. The old man told me that, no, the not as old man. There you go. He hired her as a housekeeper so she could slowly pay off his medical bills. Apparently, he got a Vespa facial as well. At least I knew her name now. Haruhara. She was the kind of person who thought the toilet paper should go underneath the roll instead of over the top. Dangerous. Tubular. That's my favorite Super Mario World level. Tubular. She kept asking, what's underneath the bandage? I didn't know myself, so I lied and said, La Repubblica Dominicana. She stared a hole through the bandage. After what felt like half an eternity, she said, El caballo y el pollo están corriendo en la biblioteca. I was sitting on the front porch, but I heard my dad call my name. Nota. He always told me it stood for honesty. I was the only honest thing about him. He always had something to ask me. Did I know why he wasn't upset that the housekeeper ran me over? Why did Mamimi buy the day-old bread? Why is your voice so deep for a 12-year-old? Wait, Mamimi was here? The cold air bit at my lungs. Fortunately, I lived only 10 meters away from the bridge, so it was a short run. The tension grew as we stared at each other. You could cut it with a knife. Or a novelty car horn. She clung to the old bread like she vicariously clung to my brother. It was then I knew I had to tell her. My brother caught white bread fever and got an American girlfriend. All things considered, Mamimi took the news pretty well. Little did I know, I just won a Yahoo auction for a giant robot hand and chose the fastest shipping method. I had no idea what I was in for. As she knocked out the TV-headed robot with a diesel-fueled bass guitar, it finally hit me. I was in an anime. Funny as hell. It was the most horrible thing I could think of.
So are you just gonna make that your end joke in every video you do? Okay.
I can do it.
So I don't know if they just shut us off or what. But...
No. Did you just?
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So whoever was here last time, he actually did. FCR did a Outlaw Rap Star, and that had the exact same end joke.
But yeah, that wraps up our little event here. Thank you all for coming out to 2017's Anime Abridged panel.
Yeah, thanks for
coming. That's so fantastic.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. So if you do want to have like our channels and everything like that, just come up to us outside so they can set up, and we'll just write it down for you on a scrap of paper.